Do you watch TV?
Do you carry a lunchbox? Famous person coming through. Don't look at me, no. No. Don't you know who I be?
Do you watch reality TV?
Do you like social media? Do you carry a lunchbox?
Alright guys. Ooh. Hey, what's up, hello, and welcome to Driving with Zen. What do I want to talk about today? Oh my gosh. I recently started watching That's So Raven again and watching Raven's Home to see if there's some similarities, and I'm honestly really pleased to say that there are. I noticed there's some episodes that actually parallel the other ones, like the one where Chelsea and Raven are like auditioning for the opera. This is in season 1. Chelsea's like, oh, well, how come you get to come up with our idea? Like, why can't I? And then Raven's like, oh, I mean, it's not like I'm the boss or anything, like, but you usually go along with my ideas. Like, why are you questioning me now? And then there's also the episode in Raven's Home where Nia and her best friend are like auditioning, and it's like, oh, well, how come you get to be choreographing? Like, how come you get to be the captain? Like, I thought we're doing this together. And it's like, oh, well, I'm always the leader. Like, girl, I can relate. Shout out to my friend Logan. Me and Logan were always two very strong personalities, which is why we clicked and butted heads when we were younger. So we can both relate to being that dominant person. And she's a Leo, I'm an Aquarius, like, we're sister signs anyway. So it's like two personalities that are just like both leaders and like eccentric, and you know what I mean? And we just figured out something that worked for us because we were both very strong personalities. And honestly, that's my favorite type of friendship. There's another episode where the kids are watching Weirder Things in Raven's Home, and they're not listening to the people around them. And there's literally a direct parallel. Raven, like, her mom asks her to give the professor her homework, and then she accidentally gives the professor the letter that Raven's mom wrote, her angry letter to her prof, and they have to get it back because she wasn't paying attention because she was watching a show. Like, they have so many parallels of like I guess modern parenting and growing up as well, and the importance of being respectful and having human communication, and also like respecting your friends and just being a better listener in general. Life kind of changes, but it kind of doesn't. You know what I mean? Like the Bible verse says, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything kind of repeats, just in a slightly modified format. We as humans, like, we've never been here before, so for us everything is new. But if you pay attention to the patterns, like, you can actually find a solution. What I like to do is read about other people's experiences. I like to like hear from other people who are older than me. The reason I'm so mature for my age is because I always hung out with older people. What I always like to do, even when I was like 8 years old or even 14, sitting with the kids who are like 19, 20, 21, I would just sit there and be quiet. I think some of us need to learn how to do that. Just sit there and shut up and just listen. I really enjoy just being around older people and listening, not to be nosy, and I would not be tattling and telling other people what was being said. I feel like there's a window open. Okay. But I would just be listening because I'm learning. I'm like, okay, this is what this person's going through. Okay, that's what you go through at that age, and this is your thought process with it. And I also like to just Google different pieces of advice, like even from Auntie Iyanla. Although a byproduct of that is that, like, a lot of times I feel older than I am, and my knowledge does not actually match my experience. So sometimes I feel like, okay, why does everybody else my age get to be so carefree about this? But for me, now that I know better, obviously I have to do better, but it's like I always have to be the bigger person every time. And I'm not the bigger person. I'm young. So sometimes it's tough, like, to balance that out, and it can feel really isolating because, again, you're out here thinking like a 30-year-old at age 20 because you've been paying attention to advice given by older people, but everybody around you is still acting 19, 16, and these are people who are 20, 21, 22. They're acting younger than you are, and you're acting older, and it's like you always are feeling like I'm the bigger person, and you also feel like you can't relate to your friends because you're asking for advice on your specific situation, but girl, they don't even know anything about that. Right now, they're not even trying to go where you're going. Like, your goals are just different. Like, your mindset is different because you believe in the long term, but your friends are still at the stage where they believe in the short term, and like they're young and just vibing or whatever, just doing foolishness and counting the cost later on. Like I said, it's just like very tough. And I'm not putting down people who act their age. I actually think that's really great because you feel like you've gone through each stage when you needed to. It's important to graduate when you need to, but I don't think there's anything wrong with not being mature. But I just think it's tough to be one of few people who's mature. Guys, I'm really gonna need everyone to move because this light is green. Yeah, so I guess like it's just really important to have friends of all age groups. Some who are younger than you, because they will surprise you. There's so many younger people who are really, really smart and like who are just even fun to be around. They may not be like, you know, whatever, but you're just laughing at their antics and like everything that they're doing and even their mindset. You're like, I can relate. I remember that. It's good to have people your age as well so that you can be like, okay, this is what my age group is saying. And yeah, sometimes they may annoy you or whatever, but just have patience and just listen to them. Like, hear them as a person. And also it's good to have friends who are older than you, slightly older, a lot older, whatever, even having mentors and stuff like that. I think it's so valuable because again, like, it just helps you level up. It helps you become a more well-rounded person. And you do notice the same patterns of mindsets repeating. And you're like, okay, wow, so even at this age, you're still dealing with bullies. It's just they have shape-shifted into something else. You know, people trying to take advantage of your time and your talents. And okay, you're still dealing with friendships that are iffy. It's just like when you're younger, you know what I mean? It's the same feeling when you're younger, when the vibe is just slightly off, as when you're older and it's something you can't put your finger on it. You're still dealing with jealousy at all ages. You're still dealing with confusion. You're still dealing with like, I don't know, just so many different things. And I think it just helps you realize we're all in it trying to figure it out. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom. Like, if you, and also James 1 verse 5, if anyone lacks wisdom, you have such free reign to ask God. Like, that's what I love. When you have wisdom and when you pay attention, when you take notes in life, then you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. That's why I like to listen to different people whose experiences are different than my own and learn from them. That way I don't have to make the mistake myself. I literally just can have the experience without wasting my time. And I think that's so valuable because time is short. Like, I don't know how many years I have on this planet, but I just want to make the most of my years and go as far as I can. And I can do that better when I am using the wisdom that I've learned from other people, you know, because I've seen somebody go through that path and I ask them for advice on what they did, or I just hear their story and I say, okay, that didn't work, that part did. Then if I'm doing that, I don't have to waste time troubleshooting. I can just go off experience that somebody else has had. And you know, maybe I only have like 21 years on the planet, but I've already gone far as if I've had 50 because I've been paying attention. Girl, we're here. Life happens and sometimes you can't even predict it. Let me line up my mirrors. Okay, I'm parking. All right, we made it. And now I'm about to get out this car. Thank you for watching. I'm not gonna do an outro because I'm late.